Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from Channel 5 studio in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes, Start Your Morning Right with your hosts, April Martinez and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Isani Caetano. Good morning.
Good morning, Isani. How are you?
I'm good.
It's December 30th. Oh, Merry Christmas, because I didn't see you last week.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you in advance, because I won't see you on Wednesday either, right? How's it going?
I'm good, and I have to say congratulations for finishing off your projects. He did it, guys. He did it. He finished it off. I think not a day to spare, right on time.
In the nick of time. Yeah.
But I would imagine then that you had a wonderful Christmas with your family and your friends.
For the most part, yes.
Yes.
For the most part, I can't complain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
all is well that ends well.
Indeed. And as it came by so quickly, it also went very quickly. And we're going to be jumping into the new year very, very soon.
Yeah, it's still something for me to take in.
Yeah.
That 2024 has flown by so quickly.
Yeah.
When you look at the events of the past 12 months, and from our perspective as members of the media, we see things through a unique lens, right? So that while we're covering and relaying information, the viewers at home or wherever they are the ones that are soaking it all in. But we get a first-person view in many instances.
Yes, and I think, I'm not a reporter or anything like that, but I think sometimes when I'm on the road or I'm somewhere and I see something happening, my immediate instinct is to send a message to my colleagues because now I'm like, oh, this, I wonder if they already know about this. And it just kind of becomes so much a part of you. So that when we come here and we talk about it with our viewers, we basically have this unanimous conversation with all of these different intricate parts and opinions coming together so that we can all basically talk about the situation. But Isani, I know that we are going to be having our end of the year review.
Yes.
And that's happening tomorrow.
I was sort of reserving that for the eye in the news. But
okay, we'll reserve it for the eye on the news. But it is just to remind our viewers that we are going to be doing that. And I'm looking forward to it, really, because we do this so much we forget sometimes, right? Yeah. But you know what, Isani, since we are talking about so many different items this morning, let's just jump into our What's Buzzing conversation for today. Let's get into What's Buzzing. All right, Isani, the topic that has been trending on all social media pages and different news articles and headlines is the death of the 39th United States of American President, James Jimmy Carter.
Indeed, it has been trending. He is the first former president that made it to 100 years old. Yes. He would be considered a centenarian. Right? And why are we having this conversation? Well, not only is it making headlines across the world, but for us here at home, in last year, in September 2023, we conferred upon him the Order of Belize.
Yes.
Right? This was part of the tribute to Belizean patriots last year. And many of us who may not have known of Jimmy Carter and his work within the region. When you look at Central America, the wider Latin American region, to include the Caribbean as well, he, during his singular term, was very influential in a lot of things that had to do with perhaps foreign policy
Yes.
and that sort of thing,
Yes.
right? And so it's with that in mind that the Briceño administration decided that they would confer upon him this honor, along with several other persons who were recognized last year.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Carter's presidency was an interesting one. It preceded the Reagan era, and for those who may be buffs when it comes to history, we all know what the Reagan era was like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so in 1977, Jimmy Carter ran against Gerald Ford for the presidency of the United States, the 39th presidency of the US, and he won, only to be unseated in 1981 by former US President Ronald Reagan,
Yeah.
right? So he served one term, but I think his works outside of politics
Yeah. They speak
is
for themselves.
what exemplifies him as an individual that many of us look to. When you look at the charitable and philanthropic efforts and what have you, when you look at his involvement in other areas of society, outside of politics, as I've mentioned, he has made quite a significant mark,
Yeah.
if I could use that description.
Yeah, I mean, he even won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002,
Yeah.
I believe, for all of his charitable work and so forth. Not just in America, but like you rightfully mentioned, Latin America and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I think that it's so funny because he just completed 100 years, I believe, in October.
Yeah.
He literally turned 100 just a couple months ago, but. It's incredible to watch this history being made for this president, making it to 100 years, all of his achievements in Belize. I don't know if we have that clip from the interview with Stuart Leslie.
We're holding on that just for the
Okay.
time being, but sort of to expand on the conferral of this honor to him. So yes, so last year, Jimmy Carter couldn't make it to Belize. He was already up there in age,
Yes.
right? So a representative of his flew down. I believe it's a member of his family who came down to Belize to accept the honor on his behalf, right? And it was, for the current government, one of those achievements, right? Where you're not only recognizing other Belizeans who have been very, very influential in our society, but you're also looking at someone else
Yeah.
who played some role in the shaping of who we are as a country today. However significant that may be, again, for those of us who are of a younger generation, we probably wouldn't readily understand or appreciate what this would have meant at that particular time. But certainly there are others who would be able to appreciate, the role that he would have played when it comes to Belize during his presidency and perhaps thereafter.
I'm sorry. One of the things that I do have to include here when it comes to his term, so in office, is that Belize was not an independent nation just yet, and so
this would have preceded independence by a few years.
Yes, and for a lot of our viewers that might not be aware, in the building and shaping of Belize, even though we were not a sovereign state just yet, we did have a lot of members of the UN. We had a lot of members of the USAID. We had a lot of members of the Peace Corps that would come in and assist in perhaps infrastructure. I know that under his presidency, the Peace Corps came in, assisted in certain architectural styles in Belmopan and so forth. So it's a very it sounds far away, this connection when it comes to President Jimmy Carter and Belize, but it's very interesting when you go back and you look at some of the records in the archives and so forth to see these letters and so on be sent between the United States presidents, Caribbean prime ministers and so forth with our governors at the time. And then that's where we kind of start to see these relationships take fold.
Yeah. So yes, remembering former U.S. President Jimmy Carter at 100 years old.
Wow. I wonder if we're gonna live to see 100 years. Do you think we, with that looking, that's it's a long time to be on this earth. That's a century. You have seen so much. He's basically lived through so many different wars. He's lived through so many different lifetimes.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And so, of course, condolences to his family, but of course, we try to remember the legacy that was Jimmy Carter. But Isani, it is Monday, and we do have a lot to cover. There has been a lot happening over the course of the weekend and in the news items, and so we're going to just jump straight into our eye on the news for this morning.
So it's been a rather violent weekend.
It's one way to put it.
Yes. And it's regrettable that we're ending off the year on this bitter and tragic note, right? Before we get into the homicides, which I sincerely hate to have to cover, but it's a reality. Before we get into the homicides, there were 2 incidents where fires, I don't know, rather peculiar to describe it as such, right? The first one was in San Pedro.
Yes.
Where it is believed that an act of arson destroyed 2 structures in San Pedro and displacing as many as 12 families on the island. Described by residents and persons who responded as a major structural fire. We're yet to get from the National Fire Service what would have actually been the cause, and perhaps since it's being considered or described in the preliminary stage as an arson, from the Belize Police Department, what would have been the motive for this fire, right? What is interesting in terms of the preliminary information that has been shared so far is the fact that an employee of the property owner who had been reportedly staying there for 4 days or so prior to this blaze had allegedly made threats. I don't know what the discontent would have been, but it is alleged that there were certain threats.
Okay.
And so when this incident happened, naturally this woman became the person of interest, right? And so there is an active attempt, as far as I'm aware, to bring this individual in for questioning. And if it checks out, then she would be arrested and charged for arson. But beyond the facts of the matter, it's the idea that at this time of year, it could have been in Easter, it could have been in summer, the mere fact that you have 12 families who have been displaced by this incident, you know, you have to look at the humanity of it all. And speaking of the humanity of it all, the San Pedro Lions Club has kicked off a fundraiser to be able to assist these families to try to pick up the pieces, in a manner of speaking. I could only imagine the sheer inconvenience and discomfort of having to start all over again, or going into a new year, without a place to call home if you were renting before, or if you had a lease on an apartment, or whatever the case may have been there. This is literally being reduced to rubble.
I'm at loss for words, Isani, when it comes to when you say 12 families being displaced. It's quite unbelievable, and just to try to be as optimistic as possible. Kudos to the Lions Club for trying to come together. I know that when it comes to community, people will try to assist as best as they can, but the truth is that this is just a senseless act of violence. There is never an excuse or whatever the motive may be or so forth. You have literally reduced 12 families to nothing. And it's not, when I think about these kinds of incidents, it's not just the home, Isani. If there are children there, school, if you have to think about where they're going to get their next meal from, yes, even if you have a job, you can't, a place right now to rent is very, very expensive, and you need to have all of these different things in order for you to even get a next place. So it's the inconvenience of it all, but it's just the sheer lack of empathy. Why would somebody even commit such an act? And this is not the only act of well, I don't want to say arson, right? Because this is fire, but there's another incident.
Well, it is being investigated as an act of arson.
Okay.
Yes.
On Friday, I believe, where this tourist van caught on fire.
So yeah, that's the other interesting one that I was alluding to in terms of fires that I found to be quite strange, right? So a visitor comes to Belize, rents a vehicle, is driving along the highway, and the vehicle, the rental, goes up in smoke. As you can see here, it's clearly on fire. The woman was unable to save her documents and other personal effects that were inside the vehicle. Fortunately, she was able to get away unscathed, right? But wow, such a black eye. When you look at, and this could happen to anyone.
Right.
It wouldn't have only been for a tourist. It could have been for anyone who rented this particular vehicle, unbeknownst to them that something would have been wrong with the vehicle. Right? So the rental company, I presume, would have to be able to answer for what happened there. I mean, I would want to think that prior to renting out a vehicle to a customer, there are certain checks, there are certain protocols that ought to be followed to ensure the safety, the roadworthiness of the vehicle, and what have you. Whether this was done or not, I'm not certain. An investigation will be able to determine what took place there. But yeah, I mean, I could only imagine that this visitor is shaken up, you know, coming to Belize on vacation. You're driving, perhaps it's your first few hours.
Airport.
And then wow.
this in this particular space, because I passed this. I passed this when the vehicle was already completely gone. But the traffic was lined up bumper to bumper, and I was trying to take my sister to the airport, trying to figure out what was going on. And when I passed it, I realized it was an accident. Well, now I realize it's a car that went up in flames. But I think, interestingly, when you said, you know, she left all of her items in there, now I'm trying to think, okay, how are you going to recover your passport? How are you going to get all of these different things? I imagine you have to, there are protocols in place in order to get
and that's the reason why you have an embassy, right? In this case, this wasn't anything of her doing, at least from what we understand.
Right.
So the U.S. Embassy should be able, or if she's American, should be able to assist in terms of, you know, getting her documents ready for her to travel back out of the country. Or if she's a national from some other country, then I would presume that certain measures are in place to be able to assist.
Indeed.
Right. So yeah, that was the second one. And again, I'm trying desperately to kind of push back the crime and violence parts. Right. So I'll segue into the investigation that's ongoing, whereas the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, OIRSA, the Ministry of Agriculture, they're all looking at what appears to be the first case of the New World screwworm being detected in Belize, right? Now, this was inevitable if it is so. It was only a matter of time, right? When you look at countries within the region and the measures that they would have put in place to be able to, as best as possible, prevent the detection of this pest in our cattle and livestock. You look at a country as big and as populous as Mexico. And they too have been affected by it. The Ministry of Agriculture has been on record, more so the minister himself, to share with us what the containment protocols would be once this is detected in Belize, right? Whereas the idea is that they would sort of isolate certain sections of the country so that it does not necessarily affect the rest of the country. And so this case, or this, what is being investigated, would have taken place down south. So in essence, they're locking off the southern part of the country from the remainder of the country while this investigation takes place. And when this made news over the weekend, representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise contacted the media to say that later today there will be a press conference to determine or to share more information, as it were, where this is concerned. Yeah. But like I said, this in a sense was inevitable. Yes. It's only a matter of time before, you know, a case would be detected if that's the case.
When we had Minister Mai here on the show a few months back, he did say, you know, if worse comes to worse, we have to lock off part of the country. We have to isolate. I believe they were talking about locking the borders prior to any cases, but you know, I would imagine that there would have to be a severe amount of protocols in order for that to take shape. Now, my biggest question is that this is the first case that we know of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not necessarily certain. If there's more, if there's spread already, I would imagine that there has to be a particular amount of protocol for a farmer to take place in order to isolate that particular cow and so on. But that for us does bode a problem, Isane, because like we mentioned, we are exporters of cattle.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to go
biggest
next, right?
industry, yes.
So it's by recent count or calculation, it's a $90 million industry where cattle is being exported into the Mexican market, right? And so when Mexico got affected the other day, the United States took stringent measures immediately, right? And so now we're at that critical juncture, if I could describe it as such, where we too are investigating what potentially seems like a case of the New World screwworm here. And so it will be interesting for us to speak with the reps from the government later today to find out what's the next step, right? But yes, the final conversation at this point has to do with the incidents of crime and violence that happened over the weekend. The first one being the discovery of the body of 20-year-old Joshua Hall. I know that on Friday, his sister Ayana was on record in the media discussing his disappearance. And what is particularly interesting in this scenario is the fact that his last known whereabouts was the Corozal police station, where he had been checking in diligently, as the records show, based on his bail conditions and what have you. And he's unaccounted for, right? So according to the sister and relatives of his, he was simply there to sign in and make his way back home. Well, he did not return home. He was found several days, if not a week or so later, with gunshot wounds in a state of decomposition, I presume, in the Dominguez layout area of Corozal. How he got there, who took his life, and the reason behind it, this is also being investigated by the police department at this point to determine what actually took place there.
Yeah, it's very one of those mystery situations, because the cameras outside of the police station don't work. So even though there is evidence that he did sign, because it's there, he did go to the police station, but once he got out, they can't say which way he went or if he was with somebody or anything like that. And I believe that the police were saying that they're gonna ask businesses surrounding the area to see if they could check footage from their cameras to see if, which way he would have possibly gone. But even so, Isani, it's very strange that almost a week later, he's found so far away from where he was last seen. Again, motive, he has a child on the way. They're trying to make ends meet and so forth. He's clearly doing right by himself by, showing up, signing and so forth. No idea what kind of trouble he got mixed up in.
Yeah, and so the final one is another incident that took place, a deadly chopping incident that took place in the western, the western part of the country, right, where an individual was found chopped to death in San Ignacio. So this is also being investigated as a homicide, and so close to the end of the year, this is where we in the media begin to do our own tabulations in terms of the number of homicides that would have taken place over the course of the past 12 months. So that is what we're going to be looking at today as well. I know the police department and the crime observatory will have their own numbers. Whether or not the numbers match ours or what have you, we'll figure that out. But yes, that's what we're looking at. I want to end off the Island News this morning with two particular reminders. First of all, the news at noon, you would be able to get a bit more details with regards to the stories that I just discussed with you. And secondly, and equally as important, as you alluded to earlier, is the end of year, the moments that mattered, right? So it's our annual review of the major stories that took place over the course of the past 12 months that we covered. It includes homicides, it includes politics, it includes the feel-good stories. It encompasses everything that we would have been working on over the past 12 months that we've shared with you, our viewers. And so I encourage you guys to tune in at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. I know some of you guys are going to be, very excited to ring in a new year. For those of you guys who may be at home and, want to enjoy a quiet evening, then you could always catch us online or on your TV screens if you're in front of that 85-inch screen that you just won. Catch the News 5 2024 highlights. That's my shameless plug.
You know what? Right? That's perfectly fine. 8 p.m. and I'm sure it's for like an hour. So, you could... What I like to do with the news...
You could watch it while you get ready
I was going to say, you watch it while you're getting ready to go to your party, and you can, I think those are good times to listen to the topics, and then when you go out, you're like, catch this human interest piece that honestly we forgot about. That's what I like about this type of review, is that I would be watching it and I would remember, I didn't realize that happened, and it was 6 months ago or 8 months ago. So I really like this concept of reminding our viewers these are all of the things that took place in 2024. But Isani, yes, all of these details and more we can catch.
You will be able to catch at 6 p.m. this evening for our full newscast. If you're unable to sit in front of your television screens, that's okay. You can stream our content on Facebook or YouTube. But that does it for this morning's Eye on the News.
All right, moving on to our almost final rendition of Jingle Tales. We're coming down to the wire. It is December 30th, like we mentioned. And so here is one of our final Jingle Tales.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Jingle Tales. Today I'll be reading How to Become a Calypsonian. Mighty Glen tells his friend how to become a Calypsonian in 6 exciting steps. You too can follow these easy steps to become crowned the Calypso monarch for the year. My name is Mighty Glen. I am a singer. I sing a special kind of song called a calypso. I am the calypso king at my school. When I am singing a calypso, I clap, dance, jump, talk, and walk around the stage. I am a mighty performer, so I call myself Mighty Glen. My real name is Glenroy Jones. I bet you can be a mighty performer too. It's not hard to become a Calypsonian. I helped my friend Donette to become a Calypsonian. I'll tell you what I told her. Anyone can become a calypsonian if they like to tell stories and sing. A calypso is a story that is sung. Let me tell you a little more about calypsos. I like that word, calypso. I have tried to find where this name for the song originally came from, but no one knows for sure. It could be from Africa, it could be from France, it could be from Spain. The word calypso could be from just about anywhere, but a calypso is definitely a sweet tropical song that came from Africa. A calypso is called a tropical song because it's popular in all the Caribbean islands. And not only Caribbean people sing calypsos, people all around the world also know about calypsos, and they enjoy this type of music. Calypsos are so sweet, people just can't help liking them. You have to tell your story in a lively, enchanting song. Long ago, people in West Africa did that too. They told a story in a song which was called a kaiso. The African kaiso music is what evolved into the calypso. My grandfather told me all about the original calypso music. I think it's super interesting. Calypsos still tell stories. The calypsonian performers on stage with a group of musicians playing different instruments. These instruments are mainly congas, clavs, jugs, spoons, bongos, classical guitar, bass guitar, trumpet, and many more. The instruments help to make the calypso music very special. So do you want to make a sweet, sweet calypso song? It's easy. These are the steps I took. Step 1. Be very observant. First, I watched what was going on at school, in my street, and everywhere I went around the country. I also listened to everything. I listened to what the adults were talking about and what was on the news. I was as curious as a little kitten. I listened to my friends, and I wanted to know what the neighbors were talking about too. Wow, people were talking about so much. Some people discussed pollution and politics. Others talked about care for the elderly. Children complained about bullying, and many people talked about the rights of boys and girls. It was fascinating, and I was learning a lot. Step 2. Choose a topic and plan your calypso. Something that you hear about while you are watching and listening to everything around you will make you very excited. That's what you should write your calypso about. Once you have chosen your topic, start planning your song. Step 3. Write your calypso. Once you have decided on your topic, that's when the fun starts. It's time to choose tricky words. You have to make them rhyme. Toss in some colorful adjectives. Let your verbs sizzle. You might spend a lot of time writing because to win the crown, you have to get your calypso just right. You can sing about animals when you really mean to talk about people. You have to choose the right words. If you put in what people say, try to write the words in the way you hear them spoken. Make your song funny, but make your listeners think about something important. Step 4. Practice your calypso. The next step is to practice your calypso. I practiced at school with the other calypsonians in my school competition. Calypsonians usually go to a place called a calypso tent to practice for competitions. The calypso tent is a real tent or a building where calypsonians gather to practice, and it's also where competitions are held. Step 5. Choose your stage name. Before the performance, you have to choose a special stage name. Choose a name that is catchy. Very soon, everyone will be calling you by your special stage name. Everybody calls me Mighty Glen Glen. Step 6. Perform the calypso. At last, it will be the day of the Calypsonian Monarch competition. You will be very excited to get on stage to perform your calypso. This is what the final step is. You might feel a little jittery from nerves, but don't worry, you'll be fine once you start performing. Winning the crown is every Calypsonian's dream. Dressed in stunning outfits, they get on stage and perform confidently. That's what you'll have to do if you want to win. While you are performing, the judges will pay keen attention to the lyrics of the song. how well the music was arranged, and how you use the stage. The performer who impresses the judge the most is chosen to be the Calypso monarch. Every year, only one person gets the crown, but everyone who performs is very happy to be a Calypsonian. I know you'll be a great performer. Just follow my steps and the crown will be yours. I bet you can't wait to get started. Put on your curiosity cap. Soon, you'll be singing and dancing like me, your favorite Calypsonian, the mighty Glen. So, everybody loves Calypso. You can sing and dance to the rhythm. Perfect for New Year's. We're almost there. We have one more day of Jingle Tales. It's been a great time, and tomorrow we'll be reading Carnival of the Clocks. See you then.
Saying a big thank you to Collins Publishing and the Book Center for bringing
story.
us another rendition of Jingle Tales. Yes, talking about Calypso.
I was mentioning to you, and I'll be brief
Yeah.
here, that my favorite Calypsonian of them all, hands down, Mighty Sparrow.
I'm a Calypso Rose fan.
All
really
right,
like her.
nice,
Yes.
nice, beautiful.
But yes, let's get into our weather update for this morning from the folks at the National Meteorological Service.
Good morning. Relatively moist conditions will support cloudy spells today and tonight. A few showers or periods of rain will affect mainly coastal areas this morning, decreasing later today and becoming isolated tonight. Isolated showers will continue to affect the country Tuesday, then will increase Tuesday night. Winds today will be out of the east and northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight. High tides will occur at 10:27 this morning and 9:21 tonight. Low tides follow at 3:06 this afternoon and 4:55 tomorrow morning. Temperatures this afternoon will peak at 73 Fahrenheit up in the Maya Mountains, 84 along the coast, and 86 inland. The moon will set at 5:20 this evening and the sun at 5:28. In the sargassum forecast, impacts, if any, from sargassum will continue to be minimal as observations show little to no sargassum over our area. And that's the latest from the Belize Weather Bureau. Do have a pleasant day.
All right. A big thank you to the folks at the National Meteorological Service for that weather update. But we do gotta move into our show lineup for this morning. Our first conversation is with Dr. Dion Chamberlain, and she's going to be in to talk to us about powerful practices to start the new year with intention.
Our second conversation, we will be joined once again by our friends from Madisco to ring in the new year. They're going to be talking about exciting promotions for food and beverage as we ring in 2025.
And in our third conversation, we're going to be hearing from you, our Belizeans, as they share their wisdom and advice on personal growth, community, and well-being.
And our fourth conversation is one of particular interest for me. It's called Pedaling Through History, Honoring Cycling Legends. So that will be one that I'm looking forward to.
But before we get into all of that and more, we do got to take a quick break. And when we come back, it's all about mastering New Year's goal setting. We'll be right back.
I'm the coordinator of the Bank House of Culture Niche. Before the Belize Bank online service, I had to travel to San Ignacio because we don't have a branch, a Belize Bank branch in our community. Now with the service, I can conduct my transactions at the office, at the comfort of my home, just anywhere in the world. It has made my life much easier. I would recommend the Belize Bank digital services to everyone and anyone. It gives you back your time, it's highly reliable, it's available 24/7, and it just makes your life easier.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Coming up, it's the season for love as this movement makes a difference for yet another year. The food we're serving, cocktails flowing, and the rhythms ongoing. Welcome everyone to a truly joyous edition of Caribbean Passport. It's all next on this station.
2024, a year of triumphs, challenges, and unforgettable moments. Join us as we take you on a journey through the stories that shaped Belize. From challenges and tragedy to heartwarming human stories, this year had it all. Don't miss our special end-of-year review, where we bring you the best of 2024. We lived the moments that made us cheer, the stories that changed our lives, and the acts of kindness that restored our faith in humanity. Join us for an unforgettable evening as we celebrate the highs, reflect on the lows, and look forward to a brighter future. Tune in to News 5 for our 2024 year in review. See you on New Year's Eve. And welcome back. For our first conversation this morning, we have been joined by husband and wife couple, Dr. Dion Chamberlain and Victor Miranda. They both represent the Chamberlain Consulting. Dr. Chamberlain is the managing director, and Mr. Miranda, my good friend, is the CEO. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We're here to talk about setting goals for the new year. I want to begin, perhaps first of all, by discussing resolutions and perhaps how these tie into goal setting and what have you. Some may argue that resolutions are one thing. Putting together perhaps a calendar of events that you want to be able to accomplish over a 12-year period is another. Yeah. But maybe there is some kind of correlation between the two.
Well, as you know already, Sani, I don't believe in resolutions because resolutions mean to resolve. I really believe that New Year's decisions are what you do. You create the decisions that you want to make for the year, and the decision starts with your mindset. For me, personally, I work with creating one word of how I want to approach my year, and sometimes the word finds me before I find it. This year, for me, I chose deliberate. or intentional, same meaning. But I believe that last year, well, still this year, was pretty crazy, and I was just rumbling and tumbling through it, you know, like going through the rough and the tough and all of that. I decided that this year I want to be more deliberate in my relationships, deliberate in the work that I do, deliberate in events that I visit, deliberate in friends that I keep or don't keep. And so basically I believe in the word and the decision aspect of it, and then creating, yes, that vision board, which is absolutely important. But beside the vision board, you need a team who will support you. Without a team, whether it be at work, at home, wherever, you need that. You need, even the brother's keeper from the Bible is there, right? And then finally, of course, it's a scoreboard. You have to know if you're winning or not, right? You don't go to a basketball game and say, I wonder who's on the board.
You just shoot hoops and there's no
and what's going to happen there. And not even, because then by the end of the 2-hour, 3-hour period, you're like, what happened here? And then that way you can correct things as you go along, because you know what? Life happens. We'll screw up, we'll do better, we'll fix, we'll change. But let Victor talk about the male perspective, because I guess that's why he's here, right?
What do you want me to say?
He has a Japanese word that he uses because he believes that men love to have like challenges. You challenge yourself for something. So maybe you can talk about misogi.
Okay, well, basically, for us that like physical activities and those kind of things, like challenging yourself, there's a Japanese way of doing it, that is the misogi. And basically, you're challenging yourself, something that would really challenge yourself. For example, if you have never run a marathon, you know, use that as your challenge and go for it, you know, challenge yourself and do something that you have never done before. I mean,
Victoria Peak,
if you look
preparation.
All right, so let me kind of try to put this into some perspective, at least from my own understanding and perhaps for those of our viewers. So if you look at a calendar of 12 months and you say, okay, using this concept or theory of misogi, I'll challenge myself to participate in or do something that would push me to the limit. Perhaps something that I've never undertaken before. Right. So as you mentioned, maybe I want to scale the Victoria Peak as my ultimate challenge for 2025, right? How do we prepare ourselves mentally and perhaps in some instances even physically for some of the challenges that we'll be facing or set for ourselves in the upcoming year?
Identifying that goal, Victoria Peak, for instance. I mean, you can't just get out there and walk that up tomorrow. I mean, you have to physically train. So you have to, first of all, decide when will it be. So it's like SMART goals, right? Simple, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. Okay, I'm going to do this in October. I need to lose 10 pounds. I need to strengthen my knees. I need to get a group to go with me. So I need to get some friends who are all going to get on the page together, because that's my team. And we're going to have check-ins with each other. So we're going to walk together on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to change the way we eat. We're going to start saving, because these things take, you know, food and certain nutritional packs and spending the night up there. It requires a whole series of items. So just like in business and just like in the vision boarding, and you know that that is the goal, then you start charting that course, but you also need to chart the win. What do you get from climbing Victoria Peak? Challenging yourself to do something you've never done. But can you imagine the mindset, the health benefits, the body shifts and changes, the friendship and camaraderie that you've created out of that little grouping? I have a friend, and she and her husband started to do Victoria Peak together with friends, and now that group goes all over the place together, because they've realized that they're an adventure set. And then she's no longer spending time hanging out with the friends who just want to hang out, party, and drink. She's now hanging out with the friends who want to do that, things that she enjoys. And so basically you're then meeting your inner passion and your inner drive at the end of the day as well.
How do you, and this is something that I think I struggle with, stay motivated when life disruption happens? Because you can set all of these goals, but perhaps a loved one gets sick, or you get sick, or there's an accident, or, you know, all of these different life challenges that can happen. How do you stay motivated and keep going?
And again, that comes back to the team, right?
Comes to the team and comes to emotional intelligence. And that is one of the topics that I love to talk about, because life will throw all kind of things at you, but you have to learn to manage your emotion. You have to be intelligent enough to say, what is the situation here? If I am good, people will be good, right? But if I am not doing good, I can't help. So basically you have to take that approach. So if somebody is sick in your family or you're handling something, and I can say in couples, for example, when Dr. Chamberlain was going through that difficult time this year, June, I had to be in my Zen mode and alert to be able to assist or support in whatever decisions has to be made, right? Because if I am not in my Zen mode, then I can't help.
To give clarity, I had spinal surgery this year. So yes, I had a titanium placed into my spine, and I was in danger of losing my legs. My nerves were ready to be severed. And again, setting my goal, my son was graduating in September. I needed to be in London in September for his graduation, so I needed to sit on a plane for 8 hours. So I then planned, my doctor said, well, we can't do it till July. I said, no, you got to do it in June because I need 3 months to be able to walk again, and I need to be able to do my therapy and get moving. So whatever is going to happen to you, no matter what is coming your way, that wasn't planned. That was totally out of the air that happened to me. But the reality is that I know that September I need to be good. So my New Year's decision, or my decision in the middle of the year, is, you know what? You've got to get this done by this time. Therapy has to be done. And then you have to start focusing on what is the prize. And that's why the scoreboard is important. The scoreboard was me walking into the University College of London, walking around the place and sitting on that plane for that long period of time, and being able to smile, right? And not just have to fake the whole thing. And I love the fact that you mentioned the adversities and things that happen in our lives, because we have to understand that, and I use the acronym SOUL for this, right? When things bad happen to us, or good, we get certain sensations, right? And then we get certain emotions. The negative emotions are affecting you. So yes, your mother is ill. Yes, all of this stuff is happening. But that negative emotion that you're storing, and how you feel, or how angry you get, or how sad, or how depressed or disappointed, doesn't correct your mother or your brother or whatever's illness. And so you need to, like Victor said, get into that state where you're like, what is my outcome? Which is the SOUL, W. What is the outcome I want? I want her to become healthy. I want to get back the money that they scammed out of me. I want to build back my relationship. Focusing on what it is that you want, the scoreboard, building that team of support. But you know what? We like to hang out with all the miserable naysayers and the vampires who suck us dry. New Year's is also a time for you to, divorce is not only for relationships, divorce is for friendships. Yeah. It's for jobs, it's for anything that's dragging you down, pulling you down, and not putting you, like what Victor said, in your Zen state. Because we love that life of misery if we don't get out of it, right? Yeah. So you've got to be willing to sever when you're there.
I want to go in another direction here. I started off by asking about the correlation between resolutions and goal setting. I'd like to go in this direction now, where I'm asking about ambitions and goals. If there's a commonality there, because sometimes we're ambitious, we're driven to say, well, okay, you know what? In 2025, I want to drive a new car, right? But there's a line between having that as something that you would wish or want to work to, versus the practicality of actually getting a new car and how that fits into your life, your lifestyle, your expenses, and what have you. What, if any, is the difference between ambition and goal?
Do you want to grab that? Okay. Ambition, I love the word that you use, the word want. Ambition is what I want, right? Now, goal is what I expect. Two different things. I want to lose 50 pounds. Do I expect it if I do nothing? And I just say, well, I want that, and I want it so bad enough, and I wrote it down, and it's on my vision board and all of that. It requires action steps. Yeah. So I want that car, for instance. There are many ways to get it. I'm not here to do a car advertisement, but there are cars that you can get on leasing in Belize right now. That's a new thing for us. Well, not new, but maybe it's new for me. You can get a used car. You can go work somewhere that they'll give you a car to use, because that's the nature of the job. You can decide that you're going to sacrifice certain things to get that job. I see a lot of young people now, they go back home and live with their parents. The reason why they're doing that is because that's how you save money. Less cost, less food, and then you stay there, you tell them, listen, for 5 years I'm going to be living with you because I'm getting my car this year and I need to be able to pay that off. There are options to what you want versus what you expect. However, the only option that you don't have is not creating the steps to get there and being serious about it, because want and expectations, two different things, goals versus, decisions or resolutions. A lot of people want things and just think that, like I know that we've gotten into the universe is, and I believe in the universe as well, but the universe doesn't do what you want, it does what you do. People just like to sit back and say, well, I'll leave it to the universe and I'll leave it. I'm sorry, but I am not that Pollyanna level. You gotta get up and work,
If you're a spiritual person, you accept the fact that God helps those who helps themselves.
Exactly. But that's how. But then I think that a lot of times we take the spirituality a little too far. Where we sit back and we believe that we can chant it into existence. Chanting
you
helps.
Preach it, but you have to do the work.
I mean that gets you in your Zen state. That prepares you. All of this stuff prepares you, but you gotta get up and work. Like what she does. She gets up in the morning and gets to her an hour. That is what you do when you want something.
I based on your definitions of ambition and goal, then is there such a thing as an unrealistic goal? Yes.
Lofty goals.
Because all goals have to be specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time bound. So basically, for me, going to World Cup in 2026 might be unreasonable because I have budgeted that I'm going to do other things, and those things I'm giving priority to. But when I went to Russia in 2018, it's because I planned it. I had it on 3-year savings and whatever, and I was able to do it. So basically, right now, you can start a new goal like the car. It might not be reasonable for this year, but you started this year. So you by next year you might be able to do it. So that is why time bound is also so the goal setting whole process. You have to also take it into bite sizes afterward. Put it into real action plans. Like for me it meant savings. For me it meant those habits of new clothes, new shoes, new perfume, colognes. Those had to
go away.
Exactly, because my ultimate pleasure was something that I love a lot, and I'm willing to give it for what I love, and that's what the motivation is key in these.
The scoreboard.
But you have to know yourself too. Some people also know yourself.
I think staying consistent is always a challenge.
Well, and that's where I was going, right? So in Creole we call it stick-to-itivity, right?
But that's a new line of intelligence, right? Because that's again now if you look it up, it's not only emotional intelligence that's important. It's resilience and adaptability and consistency. Intelligence is the new direction, because what we find is that people give up so easily. She mentioned the curveballs that hit you, the rough spots that happen. It happens to all of us. It's not like it's an expectation that something will happen, but guess what? You gotta go stay and say, you know what? I'm putting this on hold. Stick to it if it doesn't mean that it has to happen within the year. I mean, I could remember, like, you set your goals, you want to build your house and you want to have it by 25. But what? If it doesn't happen by 25, you say, forget it, I don't want the house again. No, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 is not a bad thing. So bite-sized chunks, and the bite sizes that you could handle, that it doesn't choke you. Because depending on what's happening in your life, your goals and your wants and expectations get too big because of things. I mean, cancer happens, life happens, sadness, loss of jobs, but you got to realize that you don't give it up. I love that, stick-to-itiveness.
I was watching this TikTok video, and this girl was having a slight meltdown, and I feel like I could relate, because I think I have a slight meltdown on a regular basis when it comes to all of the things that are happening in the world. Overstimulation. And then I don't know if it's worth it doing all of these things. What am I trying to achieve? Am I making a difference in the world? Am I hoping to become somebody great that can help and assist others? And then all of these other things around you happen, and you're not really sure, that are out of your control, really. And you're not really sure if continuing is the best way forward.
But you see, the first question that you asked just now, what is it that I want to accomplish? Because, and that's why, for me, it's not only the team, it's having a mentor. And a very simple explanation to that was that I was pursuing a job, and I talked to my mentor and she says, why do you want it? And I said, because it looked good on my resume. She says, your resume looks good already. She says, well, why do you want it? I said, well, you get to travel out. She said, remember you did the traveling thing and Victor, and you nearly had a rough spot because you were traveling too much and it was affecting your marriage and your relationship. So what do you want it? And every reason that I wanted was not a good reason.
Well, not a good enough reason.
And you want to know what? Sometimes you can't find that within yourself.
Yeah.
So I needed her. And this is a really good friend of mine, Lucy Fleming. She's the one who kept saying, and why. And then I realized, you know what? Everything that I wanted this thing for was not for me.
Yeah.
It was for society. Society dictated what my goal and what my achievement should look like.
Yeah.
When in reality, my achievement is just sitting on my deck watching my manatee in the water very calmly. And it brings me back to that story where people are pursuing the almighty dollar, pursuing the fame, pursuing the being seen, all of this, when all you want to do is lie in your hammock and read your book. And you started there, but then you do all of this stuff, tire yourself out, get high blood pressure and all that, just to go back and get back in this hammock on your little farm. I don't understand.
I love the fact that you're using that example.
Because that's what you do.
Yes, right? Only because to arrive at that place where you're at peace and you're at calm and you feel as if though you've conquered the day, you've conquered the world, you have to go through all of these.
But you were already there this morning, Isani. So why do you need to go through that to get back there again tonight,
Yeah.
But society does put a lot of pressure on you. I mean, it's kind of like, I would say, I don't want to go to this party, and then somebody say, but you have to go because it looks good and it makes it. Why does it look good? And so will
be there and so
yeah,
on
and why
so
does it look good? They already know me. Like if they don't like me by now, they won't change their opinion of me. And it's like we are so driven by what people think or what people want, rather than what our soul prescribes to. And so those questions that you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why does it do? Unless you know that answer, trust me, you cannot decide on what your goals will be or ought to be.
Wow. So as we bring in the new year, and I think I would like to ask you both, how would you advise our viewers how to think about their goals coming into 2025?
Let me invite everyone to enjoy life, basically. Enjoy what we have. Belize is a jewel. It doesn't have pollution. We have access to oceans. We have access to rainforests. Enjoy it. That's my first thing I want to tell everybody. And of course, to enjoy yourself as well, you have to be healthy.
Yeah.
Enjoyment comes through being healthy. Be healthy. Do your checkup. Women, do your mammograms. Men, do your prostate exams, your healthy checkup, cholesterol, triglycerides, pressure, do that checkup. So start there. And of course, our mental health is very, very important. Do yourself some checkups. Take care of yourself. So that's where we start. And that's my advice I'm going to give it. Just as simple as that.
Rather than lofty goal, I really agree with what Victor says there. And in the mental health space, we have to realize that we have to be able to get rid of. When we were young, our parents gave us Sina all the time, but you also need Sina for the brain as well. What I find as we train in companies and organizations throughout this country, most of the employees are not happy, not because of the organization, it's because they take their baggage from year to year to year with them. I mean, you don't get a prize for how much baggage you have, And if you're going to walk into a new spot, into a new year with new decisions and resolutions, take off your dirty shoes. Don't walk through other people's minds with it. I don't know what you've been through, so why should I traumatize you with my negativity, Allow each person his space. Find happiness. And happiness doesn't come from what you own or what you have. Happiness comes from who you are and answering those questions and realizing the simple things. And I always ask people, how do you eat an elephant? And they're like, what? I said, you eat it one bite at a time. So,
that's my slogan. I live by that.
So what's your elephant? And if your elephant is your goal, bite at it and eat at it one moment at a time, but continue pursuing it. Stick-to-itiveness, never giving up, being grateful for what you have, but honestly, get rid of negativity. You don't need extra baggage, you don't need extra weight, And extra baggage comes in people form too.
Yes.
People don't understand this and they say, you know, you're too mean to tell people to get rid of people, but you got to get rid of some of the people in your lives who are really just sucking you dry.
That was one of my goals for this year, and I can safely say it's been a good decision.
Identify them.
Yes.
Identify the people who are sucking you, but also identify the ones who enrich you and add value.
Indeed.
Because we spend so much time with people who drag us down, and the ones who give us hope, love, and joy, we don't. So when we lose them, we feel so lost. I don't want to live life in regret. Yeah. I want to live life knowing that I've done what I needed to do, slapped myself because it wasn't a great idea and a great decision, forgiving myself because you know what? As you traverse this whole New Year's resolution, decision, whatever for 2025, you're going to screw up. I screw up and we have to forgive. Stick to it, jump on, and make it up again. So right, that's how big is Annie. We need a big sign.
How do you spell that? Just like
no, because stick-to-itiveness is about every single aspect that we're talking about. Stick-to-itiveness is deciding what you want, who you want, and where you want to go, and sticking to it no matter what, through trial and trouble.
Wonderful, Dr. Chamberlain, Mr. Miranda. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
And from one advice to another, let's hear from some of our Belizeans out there, some of their advice to bring in the new year of 2025, and then we're going to take a break after.
Alexis.
Okay, Alexis. So tell me about this year. How has this year been for you?
Been a bumpy road.
A bumpy road?
Yeah, but a year of a lot of experience. I learned a lot of stuff. I'm working for myself. I'm actually a barber and a part-time tattoo artist also. My barbershop is New Way Barbershop on Kelly Street. 49 Kelly Street.
Okay.
For my tattoo is Lex Tattoos. As the year is closing up, still learn.
How has 2024 been for you?
It's been rough, but you know, there has been some good times. You know, with friends and family, but you know, with school and stuff like that.
My nickname is 1 year, 2 years, who left right about now. Actually, 2024 is not too bad for me, you know. I'm still here, holding the faith and so forth. So that's where I'm coming from. Like what I always say, life is what you make it, you understand. And people love to live in peace and not in peace. It's okay. Always stay strong and always think positive as always, you understand. No matter what you do in life, you do good, you do bad, people always bring you down, but that always stay focused and so forth, right? So
how has 2024 been for you?
Well, honestly, it was bad, but thank God I'm alive and I'm well, and I hope the younger generations they be wise and they think before they go up on the road high. I drink, but I mean, I hate when I hear so much people pass away, and that thing hurt me hard.
How was 2024 for you? I mean, good. It was really good. I enjoy. I do better in a school. I become more humble. I stay to myself now. So I think I achieve what I want. That's all I want. I look forward for enjoy next year.
So do you have any New Year's resolution for 2025?
Well, I would like to build my cabin on the land. I want to go on the land and build my cabin. I would be happy if I build my cabin on it. What's that?
Well, I want to start saving more. I also want to spend some more time with my family members. For example, my mom and my little sister. And that's about it, you know, just taking it day by day.
And what do you hope to learn or achieve for 2025?
Well, I'm a boxing coach and I have my fighter, Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis. And he did good for the past 3 years, but coming to the end of this year, he took a loss. Yeah, so next year we're hoping to put his name back.
Next year I just want to go in just want to graduate, and that's all I want to do, graduate and have fun next year. I would like to develop my mom's hair salon on King Street, and I would like to involve myself more in the beauty industry.
Okay, Ms. Olga, so tell me about what advice you would give to people going into 2025.
Oh, well, I would tell them study hard in school, be nice to people, and be alert, and save your money. Don't waste your money.
My advice is don't rush, take it slow, we have time, and if you feel like you're out of time, enjoy it while it lasts.
For the New Year's, I wish prosperity. I wish everybody step up.
And I could say that God is the way. God will help everything, just pray and then everything will happen. Just God's timing, not yours.
My name is Yasmin Hulse and I am a retirement pensioner. I have been paying Social Security for 40 years from the started, and now it has benefited me because I'm getting a good income from Social Security since I'm retired. It had benefited me because I can pay my bills, buy my groceries, and allow me to do activities with my family, allow me to go places that I wanted to go, but because I was working, you can't go, you know. Paying your Social Security monthly or weekly from your salary help you when you retire, because we all get old at some point, and that way you know that after you stop work, you don't have to worry about anything. You will be receiving this monthly income. You don't have to be a burden to your family member because you know they have their own family, they have their own expenses. It helps us to know that we can be depending on ourselves. We don't have to depend on anybody.
La 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 la. Ooh, la 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 la. I've been waiting for this time all year round. Time to gather with my family and friends. Oh, I can hear the Christmas bells ring, hear the choir as they sing. Oh, la 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 la, it's Christmas. Yeah, it's a Belizean Christmas. Oh, la 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 la, it's Christmas. Yeah, it's a Belizean Christmas. So tell me, do you feel it in the air? Time to spread the Christmas cheer, singing Christmas time is here. It's my favorite time of year.
Hey, Jan.
Hi, hello. Bring your own papa and come over. We got ham and turkey for the neighbor. Smell the fresh new paint and new sofa. Let's spread the joy together. So tell me, do you feel it in the air? Time to spread the Christmas cheer, singing Christmas time is here. It's my favorite time of year. La 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 la, it's Christmas. Yeah, it's a Belizean Christmas. La 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 la, it's Christmas. Yeah, it's a Belizean Christmas. Take a trip downtown to see the Christmas lights. Gather around as the children smile. Staying up all night, hear the dynamite, see the flashing lights as we all unite. Let's celebrate together. The children are filled with laughter, spreading love and cheer with my friends and family. Oh, it's a merry, merry Christmas.
This holiday season, we're keeping you connected to what matters to you most. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
What I would like to say to our Caribbean basin, we are living in times where we face challenges that come our way we have not prepared for. Sometimes we are not aware these challenges will appear, but they are here. What is important is all of us working together. From the family, there must be that support network.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. You're joining us for our second conversation. We have our friends from Madisco here to talk to us about some of the promotions on their beverages and food items. Good morning. We have with us Miss Cheyenne Miller, and she is the beverage coordinator over at Madisco. Good morning. Good morning. And sales supervisor Marcus Neal. Good morning. Okay, so we know that the best way to kick off New Year's is with Madisco. Right. So let's talk about some of the selections that we have at the entire industry, and then of course what we have here. Sure.
Okay, so Madisco is a distribution company. We have 3 branches, one in Belmopan, one in San Pedro, we have Belize City, and we have the one in Dangriga coming mid-January. And what Madisco does, we have food products, we have hospitality, and beverages. Okay. So I'll say let us start with a toast to New Year's.
Oh, okay.
So we want to get right into it.
And what are we toasting with?
So what we have here is our organic Amaluna. And what we want to talk about today is a celebration for New Year's at any price point. You know, we often think of it of affordable luxury and a little bit of high end. So that's what we have here, a wide selection. Get that popping, Marcos.
Okay, so this is your sparkling wine.
This is our sparkling organic wine. So upon tasting, you will see this is a very rich wine. It has a little acidity, but when pairing with food, it brings out the more fruitiness to it. It gives you a different flavor. However, it does good on its own as well.
Wow. So when you have your charcuterie board and you have your wines, this goes well with everything. The items on that
right.
board,
And like I said, when you're actually eating it with the food, you could get all that fruity flavor out of this wine.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
And this is the one I know that for New Year's, this is the go-to. And you're looking at all of these beautiful bubbles. Yes.
All right.
Beautiful.
The 2025.
The 2025. Cheers.
Cheers. Nice. Cheers.
Right?
It's happening.
Yes, it's
a
happening.
A bit early, but it's happening.
And Madisco enjoy keeping up with trends. And one of the great things about this specific Emiliana winery, it's an organic winery, and nowadays everyone is concerned about organic. You know, so with this winery not being only an organic agriculture, it goes beyond by protecting people, protecting the land.
Okay.
So it's sustainable.
It's sustainable. So that's one of the great things. But again, such wine retails at $51. And moving on, we don't think that sparkling wine always have to break the bank. So we brought more affordable wines. This one is a little more delicate. It's the La Roche.
Okay, which one is that?
So it's what is it?
Okay.
So this is a little. It's from France, and La Roche means the rock.
The rock.
La Rock. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So this one retails at $30. Okay. So you know, either way, you have a sparkling wine, a champagne to pop and enjoy for the new year. Apart from these, we have wide varieties such as alcohol-free sparkling wine. We have sweet ones. We have more high-end such as the Moet and Chandon. And that
now one look very fancy.
And you know the thing about that one, that has a wide variety of its own. So it has sweet, it has an ice, it has a rosé. So that one actually give you the option to suit your palate.
Wonderful. I love that. And this retails at?
That one retails at $160.
Okay. I feel like the Amaluna is affordable. It's a good in the middle kind of wine. Yes. What else do we have here on the table?
And apart from that, we have not only sparkling wine, but we have red wines, we have white wines, you know, that can complement your dinner, your meats. We have whiskeys, rums, and so forth. And like I always remind people, our Oasis is a walk-in retail store. So we are open until tomorrow. Moving on, Marcus will share our hours. But yes,
before we get to Marcus sharing with us the opening hours, has there been, perhaps in your observation, a particular trend this Christmas season in terms of the one bottle that people are demanding?
Yes. I must say the market is trending for sweeter wines.
Okay.
So rather than we have brutes or Proseccos, the Proseccos are the one that you will make mimosa with. But majority, I guess, the Gen Zs are really into wines now. So everyone comes on come in asking for sweeter wines.
Because wine tasting is kind of like a more cultural thing, right?
Yes.
You have more of the older folks that they want to sip and enjoy and yeah. That's very interesting because I don't like sweet wine.
I know. We have couple staff, right, that don't enjoy sweet wine, either, you know, but we have the option to taste. To switch. We don't like sweet, you know.
Interesting. So in terms of the different prices and so forth that you have over at Madisco, for persons that are looking for something more affordable, we're looking more at the La Roche and
the La Roche.
Okay, and that would be like your quote-unquote champagne,
right?
But you have others.
We have others. I will say the sparkling wine, the Moet and Chandon is what we considered champagne, and we call these sparkling, but they are just the same. The reason why the Moet and Chandon hold the name champagne is because it comes from that champagne winery, so only that one has the authority, I'll say, to hold that name. But they're all sparkling, they're all bubbly,
and they're all delicious.
And they're all delicious.
All right, Marcus, so let's talk about the opening hours.
Yes, good morning again. So as you know, tomorrow is our New Year's Eve. We have regular working hours today from 8 to 5, but at 5 we have something I call a happy hour. So we go from 5 to 7 this evening, and you can come in and buy all the wines and all the champagnes that you need for tomorrow. Tomorrow, which is the 31st, we open from 8 to 1. So you still have time to walk in and come and buy your stuff if you can't make it this evening.
But I think that's a good option for persons that are working still. You know, this weird time between Christmas and New Year's, people still have to work, so it's a good opportunity.
Yes, we did it. We did it just before the Christmas, the happy hour from 5 to 7, and it was a rush. It was a rush. We had a rush from like 6 right through to about 7. So we had a rush.
I think the 5 o'clock traffic is what ties up everyone. So they're there within the 6 and 7 o'clock hour.
When they leave work at 5, you know, they're in that traffic. So between the 6 and 7, that's when the crowd came in.
And this happy hour is for all of your establishments around the country?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It is.
My final question for you guys is, how are you going to be ringing in 2020? What are you guys going to be doing?
Well, I must say, every New Year, the team at Madisco, we cheers, we enjoy each other company, apart from a business perspective, you know, so we build that communication around this time and bond. So we usually do our toast, but I'll be home after watching the fireworks with my family.
Yeah, same. I'll just watch the fireworks and from there go home with my family as well.
Can persons expect any change in prices or discounts and so forth for this this New Year's?
Yes, we had discounts started from before the Christmas, and we have our the sales still going on, specifically on wines. But I believe we do have hospitality products.
We have hospitality products, I think with a 10% discount off.
Okay.
So you can come in as well when you come and buy your champagne. You can or wine, I should say, you can also check our hospitality stuff.
What are hospitality products?
Some like the bathrobes.
Okay.
We have like
bat slippers.
We have the sheets,
aprons.
Okay. You know, the chef pants, chef coat. So.
Nice. All right. Yes. And all of these products are going to be on sale as well.
Yes.
We have an ongoing sale on these. And when you walk into our retail line, these are all in our retail store, these are all displayed out there, so you can actually view what the product can feel, the texture, and make that decision as to what works for you.
All right. My final question for you guys is, what can we expect from Madisco in 2025?
Same service, same products, just come in. We have to remind the public as well that Madisco is also a walk-in retail store. You can walk in and pick things off a shelf and stuff like that. So people think that there's a distribution center. No, it's actually a walk-in store.
Okay, and this is for all of the stores around the country?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, guys, let's toast one more time to 2025. It's been a pleasure having you all here this morning.
And I like the fact that the All-Lang sign is playing in the background. It feels as if they were almost at
fire. But cheers and
cheers.
Best of luck in 2025.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
That's a good one. And we gotta go. We gotta take a quick break. And when we come back, it's all about the Cycling Federation is gonna have an event in the coming new year. So you don't want to go away. We'll be right back.
In Belize, diversity is our strength. From the vibrant streets of Corozal to the serene beauty of Punta Gorda, and from the charming town of Benque to the breathtaking views of Half Moon Cay. We are a tapestry of cultures, traditions, and perspectives. But amidst our differences, there's one thing that unites us all, that defines the essence of Belizean identity. Our love for this land and sea we call home. Our Belize Barrier Reef is more than just a natural wonder. It's the lifeblood of our nation, the foundation of our culture, and the backbone of our economy. Every lobster caught, every conch harvested, every tourist enchanted, every investor satisfied, every proud homeowner, and every taxpayer. They all depend on the health and vitality of our marine environment.
I may be out on the water every day, but I know that my livelihood is tied to the health of the reef. We all depend on it.
As a tour guide, I get to share the beauty of a reef with visitors from around the world. But I want future generations of Belizeans to experience it too.
Fresh seafood is the heart of Belizean cuisine. I want to continue creating delicious dishes that celebrate our local flavors, sustainably sourced from our waters.
In Belize, we may come from different backgrounds, but we all share the same dream, a thriving marine environment capable of sustaining us all. Together, let's work toward that future, a future where we all thrive.
My name is Hermine Vega. El Patio Grill has been using Belize Bank for over 25 years. We only use Belize Bank at our restaurant. That's why we were able to win this trip to Europe. I had never been to Europe. We found out it was Madrid and we were excited, and We went to this football match. The teams reached before the game and everybody was just outside, you know. You can't explain, the noise just roared like 3 blocks down the street, but when you got in there and you saw 70,000 people in there, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it was happening. I had to pinch myself to make sure it was real, you know, because it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, I'd say. My lucky plus one was my son. He's 18 years old, so he was really excited and he enjoyed it as well. He said it's his best trip ever, so it's a priceless experience that we got. Belize Bank has always been there for me. Whatever transactions or whatever I need to do, they're always there for me. I would recommend everybody to use Belize Bank. It's the oldest bank in our country and they continue to do their best.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
2024, a year of triumphs, challenges, and unforgettable moments. Join us as we take you on a journey through the stories that shaped Belize. From challenges and tragedy to heartwarming human stories, this year had it all. Don't miss our special end-of-year review, where we bring you the best of 2024. We live the moments that made us cheer, the stories that changed our lives, and the acts of kindness that restored our faith in humanity. Join us for an unforgettable evening as we celebrate the highs, reflect on the lows, and look forward to a brighter future. Tune in to News 5 for our 2024 year in review. See you on New Year's Eve. And welcome back. For our fourth and final conversation this morning, we have been joined by Oswald Bowman and Fitzgerald Palace Joseph. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
You're both here as the organizers for an event called the Night of Cycling Legends. Morning once again.
Good morning.
And let's begin by talking about cycling and all the big names past and present who have been involved in cycling in Belize.
Yeah, definitely a big shout out Mr. Oswald Bowman on my life here. He has a cycling podcast in New York where he resides, and he came up with the idea. Must give him maximum props because nobody has ever done this before in cycling. Cycling in 3 years' time will be we are celebrating 100 years of cycling in Belize.
Wow.
In this whole hemisphere, cycling hasn't been so long, and so Belize is blessed with that great heritage that in 3 years from now we're celebrating our 100 years of cycling in Belize, and no one has really adopted or taken the time to present or to cherish our legend, and a lot of them are dying on us. And so Mr. Bowman here, who comes from a cycling family as well, the Bowmans are great cycling people from way back as well, and he came up with the idea. He called me and said it's a great initiative and gesture for us to honor our legends past and those that are still alive with us. We were going from 1928 to 1980.
I was just about to ask, what specific period in time are we focusing on here?
Yeah, the first is from 1928 to 1980.
Wow.
So, who are some of the big names? I'm thinking, and I'm fairly young, right? But I'm thinking you have your Elston Kerrs, you have your Alpheus Williams, you have all of these guys. Are they within that 1928 to 1980 or they're after?
Williams is going to be after, but Kerr is going to be now.
Okay.
Then you have the McGill's brothers, and you have Hutchison. Dak is going to be there.
Holiday, he's one of the greatest.
Holiday.
Kendrick, he's still here with us. And he's going to be there.
Wow. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if you could, because we keep saying it's your brainchild, right? But what was that moment of inspiration that you felt you needed to organize something
Well,
like
I did a
this?
podcast and I had Kenrick was on with Cheveria, and I rolled with them.
This is Justin quickly. Is that the two sons? The two sons are you here?
The father, Justin
Right.
Senior.
Yes.
He was great to me when I was a cyclist at 15 years old, and I spent time at his house in Kaya training, and he's still doing it, and it's amazing. Then Dak is someone I always know, and so I decided nobody had did anything for them.
Yeah.
So
It's great
So
that no, go ahead.
I'm not sure if this is in the making, right? And if it isn't, perhaps it's a consideration for next year whenever you have this event again. But Palace himself is a legend.
Yeah, he's
Palace has been around from I was a child.
I'm coming up in the next batch.
This
next cohort of inductees, right?
Because I told I don't want to die and don't get this award.
Because this batch, most of the guys are in their 70s. Like Mr. Miguel is going to be there, Jan. He's about 83.
Wow.
Hutchison is about 76, I think. So, we got to do something for those guys now.
Yeah.
Holidays like about 70, 72.
Holidays 70.
I think I have to appreciate it because we're all generations apart.
Yeah.
I think I'm the youngest one on this coach.
Yeah.
But I like that you mentioned, like, for example, the Chavarria, because I grew up with the sons. They're the ones that I watch. If you asked me about their dad, I wouldn't know. So this is, I think, really vital, and for us at Belize, that we love cycling so much. It's such a part of our culture that I don't know if we think about it almost being 100 years in the making here.
I'm appalled when I was thinking about it, me and Sek. It was appalled 100 years, a century of cycling. I didn't thought that I would have been here to see the 100th year. I'm praying. I'm asking God to give me that the life that I can see this 100 years cycling, please.
In your time and your involvement with this sport, how have you guys seen it evolve? Perhaps from the time when you got involved, Palace, and then yourself, Mr. Bowman, how have you seen cycling take shape in Belize?
Well, it got better, but there's still so much areas it need to be improved. For once, the track that we rode on, they did a new stadium, but did not include anything with the track for the young cyclists. And that's something that we talk about, to try and work after this event to try and get a velodrome built. And which is going to help the younger cyclists.
Yeah.
Not to get political in any way, but from our vantage point, it would often seem as if though the politics of cycling can get very controversial, and perhaps it serves to hinder the development of the sport more than it serves to advance the development of the sport. Even though there are so many young riders who enjoy the sport of cycling, but the politics and the internal wranglings and what have you usually frustrate more than it helps the processes.
You use the correct words. The politics of cycling is similar to the politics of our Belize as well, where successful governments and another government come in and they don't follow through with what the first government did, because that's not their party and stuff. The same thing happened in cycling as well, because I can see, I'm in cycling from 1980, more likely, 80 start riding. We should have been further in cycling today than we are now. I mean, we had things that we were doing back then that we're not doing now. So clearly went backwards in that light. But like you said, that it's a politics. Some people don't like to follow through on what one administration did, and just follow through and just capitalize on it and go from there and from there.
Make it bigger and better.
And so this politics of cycling have taken us back as well.
And that's why we're not going to wait with the velodrome after this event is over. We're going to try and do it ourselves with private funding and not go through any of the politicians.
Yeah. So let's talk about this event then, because I love the T-shirts. By the way, the last time Mr. Joseph was here,
we have one for you as well.
the last time Mr. Joseph was here, he never had T-shirts just yet. So let's talk about let's talk about the event and what we can expect.
The event is going to be great. We're going to have a lot of legends going to be there before. So you could go meet the legends, talk to them. Princess.
Okay.
In the Queen's room.
This Saturday right there, the 4th.
The 4th.
Yeah.
This Saturday.
Right there.
Tickets are still available. So we're still looking for sponsors too.
Okay.
To help with the event. And we're going to have DJ, Frisco, Bigger Ford, and the band from Curacao. Surafira is going to be there.
Which I saw the owner just died last week. So
and
our condolences to the family.
And we're going to be giving out the awards. And the awards going to go to the plaques going to go to the living legends. And the certificates is going to go to the legends that is no longer here with us.
It's like a posthumous recognition.
Yeah, recognition, yes. Yes.
All right, so we have some time still. Let's get a bit of history on cycling from both of you guys individually. Let's start with you, Palas.
Cycling, I remember as a young kid growing up in Belize. My father is also a cross-country champion, Alvin Joseph, 1949. And so I was raised with that. Actually, I was a better basketball player, I think. And my father forced me into cycling. So he said, nobody didn't play basketball for you. You're going to be a cyclist. So I was forced into this. I can't say that I didn't love it. I think I've been to about 15, 20 countries, Olympics and all the games, through cycling. So it definitely served me well. But I've seen cycling came from that. My father used to train great cyclists as well. Doc Halliday, Parks and those stuff always coming to my house. So I was raised seeing legends as well. Coming to my house, my father speaking to them, giving them massage and stuff. And so as a young kid, I always wanted to be a cyclist because of how I was raised. And so that brought me from a kid to a teenager to an adult, and so that was instrumental in my cycling career, being at that level. But I would say that though that raising nearly 45 years of cycling, seeing that we are not doing some of the things, the youngsters are not doing some of the things that they should be doing, and that's the reason why cycling to me haven't reached that epitome where we should. I mean, any country in the world, Africa, quickly, only have about 35 years of cycling. Africa have people riding the Tour de France, Tour de Italy, the Tour de Spain, and they don't have 35 years. No, we are nearly 3 times and we them. We have nobody out there. Doctor, we don't have a pro right now. We had 2 pro and now they are.
Before we get Mr. Bowman's take on it, let me just share with you how well I know you.
You've been around so much. Well, I know.
So I remember you from my childhood when you were at secondary school number 2 with my dad, right? Yes, junior sec 2.
Yes,
and so from then, the conversation has always been cycling, and your name is one of those names that when you hear cycling classic, cross country, so on and so forth, Palas's name is front and center. Now you've probably had some wins and some losses, it's all in the mix of it, but your name has been a staple in cycling in Belize. We're sitting here and I know that your time will come in terms of when you're actually being recognized formally, but in a sense with all the time that has passed and your name being out there, it's still, some people may still see you as an unsung hero, right? It's just the nature of sports, right? The older generation will remember you and put you in your place where that is concerned, and other people up and coming probably don't know who you are. It's like I describe it as like the Michael Jordan effect, right?
Right.
How do you feel about your place in cycling?
I feel great, but me and Dave was discussing, our next guy that have a podcast, the Real Talk show. The younger generation doesn't seem to appreciate the greatness of guys from way back, and that's the reason why I think I had excelled in my second, because I saw Glen Garden, Trixie King, Doc Halliday as my hero, and whenever I see them on the road, I usually ask them questions, and so I had maximum respect for them, as they were legends, and I was coming up. Now the younger guys, like you said, don't know the legends, and we don't. Actually, generally in Belize, we don't give respect to athletes, and that's in all sports. Great football players. Ricky Gongora just died. He was my hero as well. But to me, the older generation had that love and that care for appreciating our sportsmen back then. No, I don't think the younger guys really appreciate the greatness that they have seen come from back then, and that also is a problem. I see that as a problem as well, because we are inviting young people also to come to this gala and this thing to see. No, call it Palace, call it Doc Halliday, call it Tank Hutchison, call it Rudy Miguel, who are great riders and stuff. And so we're encouraging young people to get involved in their sports, because young people are not involved, to me, in the way that they should be involved in the sports, and that's some of the reason why some of them haven't excelled as they should as well. It's greatness. Bob Marley, in this great future, can't forget your past. And so you need to get involved. They need to get involved with their past.
Let's get Mr. Bowman's take.
Well, cycling is big for me. Like my whole life, because from my older brothers, Glenn Gordon, started from Backer Lake. Everybody, all those guys were cyclists, and coming up young, you were surrounded with my older brothers and the Gordon brothers. Then I had my great opportunity in life when I was qualified for a cycling event in Miami, and that's when I started my career in America. So it was the best thing for me.
What has that been like in terms of that particular journey?
Was great. One of the greatest things, using the opportunity back then as a cyclist, I had the opportunity to go away, and it turned out to be very good. But like Paz was talking about, I had the opportunity to ride with Doc Halliday as a very young guy, and Trixie King, Gordon, and Alfred Parks, and it was so much respect when you had the opportunity to ride it with those guys. But now you don't get that from the younger guys. And this is one of the reasons we're doing this, and they could also come out and meet the guys that had paved the road.
So this particular event, you invited some of the newer, the younger generation?
Yeah, some of them got free tickets to come.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have been encouraging them to come up as well.
Okay.
Come out.
I would wonder if that would maybe shift the mindset of the new generation of cyclists, because like I said, it's a very, like this, the Belizean population loves cycling. We go out, we watch cross country, all of these things, but I'm not sure if we tend to stick around for the aftermath. Right? It's not like we follow, like with basketball, we follow all of the games even after the big one is done, right?
Well, what caused that is when they eliminate the race finishing at National Stadium. When they put up Marion Jones Stadium, they didn't redo the track. So back then, you used to actually stay there
and see them do the final lap.
And see all you know, the people you support. It's much better. They went away from that from 2009, I think it was.
2008. 2007 was the last year they finished in track.
I understand they developed Marion Jones, but then took away the horse track and the cycling track. And that's one of the reasons we're going to start working on the velodrome.
Yes, okay, so for the benefit of our viewers who may not know what a velodrome is, can you explain to them what that is and perhaps how you're going to see about funding this particular initiative?
Well, one of the things we're going to try to ask the government to give us the property to build it. And you could go both ways. You could go with the outdoors velodrome.
Or indoor.
You could go with the indoors.
The outdoor, you can still finish cross country. The big race in France, the Paris-Roubaix, finishes in a velodrome.
And that's the outdoor one.
And then you still get the federation needs also to get involved in this. Like we discussed already, because this artist also funding. Cross country in my days, when you finish a national stadium, main track used to be packed. And people are paying $3 to come in. And so their drinks, their food. So after cross country, you're making money for the drinks and the food and stuff. And so all that that's one thing that we are falling back.
So, and my thing is to try and get a velodrome that indoors, that also have housing, also have restaurants. You could use it for any kind of event. You couldn't use it for disaster, for shelters, you know what I mean? And that's why I like to do an indoors velodrome.
So the proceedings of this event will go towards...
No, that's a whole different...
This is another thing.
That the development is separate from this event.
With that's something we're going to work on after the event. And try and get private funding.
So you guys say that tickets are still available?
Tickets are still
How can
available.
persons purchase tickets, and what are they going for? How much are they going for?
Tickets are going for $75. If you buy your ticket now at Angela's Press, at the Angela's Press in the city and the one in Belize Bank. And you can also buy your ticket at the door.
All right, so my final question for you guys, Palace, you mentioned it, that with almost a century of cycling as part of our Belizean culture, we have not yet fielded a cyclist to participate in the Tour de France or any of the big international events. I think part of the observation is that in Belize, we don't necessarily have professional sports, right? You go as high as semi-pro.
Semi-pro,
many of us still work for somebody while we still go and work out the morning and stuff. So we've never really committed ourselves fully to doing any one discipline and becoming professional at it. In cycling, what do you see as the moves that need to be made for us to encourage and perhaps nurture a young cyclist to participate at the highest international level?
What will have to be done, which the federation is doing a bit, is to get, especially in the cross country or cycling events, know that we need to walk away from who we bring in the country. Like basically, if you start to limit yourself, you won't go anywhere. Africa has taught us that they brought in professionals from Europe, and those professionals dominated the African tour. Until now, the Africans are starting to compete with them in the tour. That's the first step we need to do. Bring in the competition to get you to the next level. If you are young and you're getting better and better and you have that talent, somebody's going to see your talent when they come to Belize to ride. Because you're not going out there. But so when they come, when these foreigners come, they're going to look at it and say, that little guy has a lot of talent. And that's the reason why Oscar Quiros had gotten that contract to ride with Miami Blazers and stuff. So it's seeing us and seeing our talent that will cause us to go outside. If that doesn't happen, then we'll stay right in Belize.
I think that's very interesting you say that, because I think for most of the time when we don't know that much about how the sport is formatted, we assume that it's every rider for himself or herself, right? And it's a team.
Cycling is a team sport.
Yes.
Cycling has become a team sport now. It's a team sport.
And many pros have jobs. Many pros work.
In America, the pros work.
Many pros do work. So it's just for the guys here to balance. I know it's tough, but you know, but many pros work.
So pedaling through history, like a cycling night of living legends, past and present. It's going to be this Saturday, the 4th of January, 2025. Wow. At the Princess Ramada in the Queen's Room. What time do doors open?
8 o'clock. The pros or the legends going to be there before. So if you want to go and talk to Rudy Miguel, Hutchison, they're going to be there for you to go greet and meet.
And of course, you have food, drinks, music.
Prize at the door.
Prize. Okay. All of that jazz. You don't want to miss it. So guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Appreciate
and best of luck with your event. And you'll be back, and then we're going to give Palace his award, right? Okay, great. We got to take a quick break. And when we come back, it's straight to wrap things up. Don't go away.
Langsert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
"2024, a year of triumphs, challenges, and unforgettable moments. Join us as we take you on a journey through the stories that shaped Belize. From challenges and tragedy to heartwarming human stories, this year had it all. Don't miss our special end-of-year review where we bring you the best of 2024. Relive the moments that made us cheer, the stories that changed our lives, and the acts of kindness that restored our faith in humanity. Join us for an unforgettable evening as we celebrate the highs, reflect on the lows, and look forward to a brighter future. Tune in to News 5 for our 2024 year in review. See you on New Year's Eve.
Driving around, particularly during this holiday season, can be quite an experience. Families are out shopping and the streets are buzzing with excitement. It reminds me that this season is all about connections, and it starts with how we treat each other, even on the road. When I'm behind the wheel, I always remind myself that being on the road is more than just following the rules. It's about looking out for each other and making sure we all get home safely to our families. This season, let's continue to be alert and be kind on the road. Be courteous, give way, and stay safe. A message from BEL.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Coming up, it's the season for love, as this movement makes a difference for yet another year. The food we're serving, cocktails flowing, and the rhythms ongoing. Welcome everyone to a truly joyous edition of Caribbean Passport. It's all next on this station.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes.
Eyes. We just want to say a big thank you to all of our guests for coming in and having the conversation with us this morning. We are, counting down to the new year, so we just want to remind our viewers that we are going to be doing our News 5 review tomorrow, December the 31st at 8 p.m. right here live on Channel 5. So don't go away. You want to stick around for that. You want to see all of the eventful, whether that be happy or sad, events that took place over the course of 2024. It is December 30th, and if it is your birthday today, we want to say a happy birthday to you from all of us here at Open Your Eyes and Channel 5. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our live stream on Facebook every day at Open Your Eyes BZ, and check out our highlights on Instagram at OYE_Belize. And do us a favor and join us again tomorrow on Tuesday when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon, Belize. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.